The briefing room smells like burnt coffee and recycled air. Alara Brooks steps through the doorway at JFK Terminal 4, her navy blazer pressed sharp, red silk scarf knotted perfectly at her throat. The room hums with conversation, loose, easy chatter between people who have flown together 100 times. Then she walks in. The noise dips, half a second of silence like someone hit pause on a remote. Then it comes back louder. Heads turn. Eyes track her movement across the scuffed linoleum floor. She doesn't acknowledge them, doesn't smile, just moves toward an empty seat near the back, her expression calm, her hands steady at her sides. Hi viewers, kindly tell us when and where you're watching this story from. At the center of the room stands Maribel Cruz, lead flight attendant, 15 years in the air, red lipstick so bright it could guide planes in fog. She leans against the podium like she owns it, arms crossed, one hip cocked. Her eyes follow Alara from door to chair.
Another fast-track hire?
Maribel says. Her voice cuts through the chatter.
Must be nice skipping the line.
A few attendants snicker, not loud, just enough to make the room feel smaller. Alara sits, opens her manual, pretends not to hear. Maribel doesn't look away. We've been getting a lot of those lately, fresh faces, 0 hours, but somehow they end up on premium routes. Someone mutters agreement, another laughs softly. Alara's fingers rest on the manual's edge. She doesn't flip the page, doesn't look up. Her breathing stays even, controlled like she's done this before. Because she has. Just not here, not like this. Maribel walks closer. Her heels click on the floor. She stops 2 feet from Alara's chair, looking down at her. You got a name, or are we supposed to guess? Alara lifts her eyes, meets Maribel's gaze without flinching. Alara Brooks. Brooks, Maribel tilts her head. Sounds familiar, you fly before. I did. Where? Different airline. Why'd you leave? Alara pauses, just long enough to let the weight settle. Personal reasons. Maribel smirks. Personal reasons, right. She turns back to the group, raising her voice. Everyone hear that? Personal reasons. That's code for couldn't hack it. More laughter this time, louder. One attendant, a woman with short locks and tired eyes, glances at Alara, then looks away quickly, like witnessing a car crash she doesn't want to be part of. Alara closes the manual, folds her hands on top of it. Her jaw tightens, but her face stays smooth, professional. The crew coordinator walks in, a bald man with a clipboard and 0 patience. All right, listen up. Flight 847 to Heathrow. Long haul, full cabin. We board in 40 minutes. He rattles off assignments, sections, positions, responsibilities. Maribel gets first class. Of course she does. Another senior attendant gets business. Alara gets economy, rear section, near the lavatories. The worst assignment on the plane. Maribel doesn't even hide her smile. The coordinator finishes and leaves. The room empties in waves. Attendants grab their bags, their coffee, their gossip, and head toward the gate. Alara stays seated, waits until most of them are gone. Then she stands, straightens her scarf, picks up her bag. As she walks toward the door, she glances at the assignment board on the wall. Flight 847, JFK to Heathrow. Captain Rowan Hale. Her breath catches, just for a second. She stares at the name, at the letters she's seen on a dozen documents, 1,000 memories, a wedding certificate she keeps in a drawer at home. Her hand tightens around the strap of her bag. No one notices, no one's watching. Except maybe they are. Because this is the first time she'll be on his flight since she came back. The first time she'll see him in uniform again. The first time she'll have to pretend he's just a captain. And she's just another flight attendant. She turns and walks out into the terminal, where the sound of engines and boarding calls swallow everything else. But her heart beats louder than all of it. Have you ever had to hide the most important part of yourself just to survive? Drop a comment below. The cabin smells like disinfectant and stale pretzels. Alara moves through the aisle, checking seatbelts, adjusting overhead bins, smiling at passengers who don't smile back. Her section is packed. Families, businessmen. A crying baby 3 rows up. She's been working for 20 minutes straight. No break, no backup. Maribel assigned her 4 extra rows this morning. Said it was to help her learn faster. It wasn't. A passenger waves her down. Middle-aged man, sweating through his polo shirt. "Excuse me, miss, this tray table's broken." Alara kneels beside his seat, tests the latch. It clicks into place smoothly. "Should be fine now, sir." He grunts, doesn't say thank you. She moves on. 2 rows back, a woman stops her. "Can I get a blanket?" "Of course, give me just a moment." Alara heads to the galley, opens the storage bin, empty. She checks the next one, also empty. The blankets were supposed to be restocked before boarding. Someone didn't do their job. She walks forward toward business class, where the spare supplies are kept. Maribel stands in the galley, scrolling through her phone. Another attendant, tall, thin, with box braids, leans against the counter, laughing at something on the screen. "Excuse me," Alara says. "I need a blanket for a passenger in 32B. Maribel doesn't look up. "We're low on blankets." "There's a passenger requesting one." "Tell them we're out." "We're not out, they're stored up here." Now Maribel looks up, slowly. Her smile is sharp. "You telling me how to manage inventory, Brooks?" Alara doesn't react. "I'm asking for a blanket. And I'm telling you we need to save them for premium passengers. Economy can wait." The other attendant shifts uncomfortably, looks away. Alara's jaw tightens. She takes a breath. "Understood." She turns and walks back to her section. The woman in 32B is still waiting. Hopeful eyes, cold arms wrapped around herself. "I'm sorry," Alara says. "We're out of blankets at the moment, but I can get you an extra pillow if that helps." The woman's face falls. "It's freezing back here." "I know, I'll see what I can do." Alara goes to the rear galley, finds a service jacket someone left on a hook. She folds it neatly, walks back and hands it to the woman. "This might help." The woman blinks, then smiles, a real one. "Thank you." Alara nods and moves on. Across the aisle, a businessman watches the exchange. He's been watching her for the past 10 minutes. Noticed the blanket refusal. Noticed the jacket solution. He catches Alara's eye and gives a small nod. "Respect." She doesn't acknowledge it, just keeps working. The plane begins to taxi. Passengers settle. The hum of the engines builds. Alara takes her jump seat near the rear exit, buckles in, closes her eyes for just a second. She hears footsteps. Opens her eyes. A man stands in the aisle, mid-30s, kind face, dark skin, name tag reads Noah Bellamy. "You good?" he asks quietly. Alara nods, "Fine." "That was smart, the jacket thing." She doesn't respond. Noah sits in the jump seat across from her, buckles in. "You've done this before," he says, "haven't you?" Alara glances at him, measures her words. "A while ago." "Different airline." "Yeah." "Why'd you come back?" She looks toward the window, at the runway lights blurring past. "Missed it." Noah doesn't push, just nods. The plane lifts off, smooth, clean, perfect. Alara feels the shift in her chest, the pull of gravity, the quiet roar of ascent. She's been on thousands of flights, but this feeling never gets old. Up in the cockpit, Captain Rowan Hale adjusts the throttle. His hands move with precision. Muscle memory, years of training. The first officer beside him handles communications. Rowan watches the instruments, monitors altitude, airspeed, angle. Everything perfect. Then his eyes flick to the small monitor mounted above the center console. The cabin camera feed, a fisheye view of the aisles. He sees movement, blue uniforms, passengers settling in. And then he sees her. Just for a second, walking past the camera, head down, focused. His chest tightens. He looks away, back to the instruments. The first officer doesn't notice. Rowan's hand rests on the throttle, steady, controlled. But his mind is somewhere else. Back in the terminal hallway, 2 weeks ago, before her first flight back. "You don't have to do this," he'd said. "Yes, I do. You've already proven yourself." "Not to them." He'd wanted to argue, wanted to tell her she didn't owe anyone anything, that she could walk onto any crew and command respect without saying a word. But she'd looked at him with those eyes, that stubborn, burning determination. "I need to do this my way, Rowan. No shortcuts, no favors, no one knowing who I am to you." And he'd agreed. Because he loved her. Because he respected her. Because he knew what it cost her to leave the first time. Now, 35,000 feet above the Atlantic, he wonders if he made the right call. The seatbelt sign chimes off. Passengers stand, stretch, head toward the lavatories. Alara moves through the cabin, collecting trash, offering drinks, smiling until her face hurts. A teenager drops a soda can. It rolls under 3 seats. Alara kneels, reaches under, pulls it out, sticky liquid on her fingers. She doesn't complain, just wipes her hands and keeps moving. Maribel walks past, sees her on the floor. "Careful, Brooks. Wouldn't want you to hurt yourself on day 1. The comment lands like a slap. Alara stands, meets Maribel's eyes. Says nothing. Maribel walks away, laughing with another attendant. Noah appears beside Alara, hands her a sanitizing wipe. "Don't let her get to you." Alara takes the wipe. "I won't." She does this to everyone new. It's not personal. Alara looks at him, almost smiles. "It's always personal." Noah doesn't argue. An hour into the flight, a passenger in 28C presses the call button. Alara walks over. The woman, elderly, silver hair, nervous hands, looks up at her. "I'm sorry to bother you, but I think I'm having a reaction to something." Alara's expression sharpened, professional, focused. "What kind of reaction?" "My throat feels tight, and my hands are tingling." Alara kneels beside her seat. "Have you eaten anything unusual today?" "Just the snack mix, but I've had it before." "Any known allergies?" "Shellfish, but I didn't." Alara's already moving. She stands, walks quickly to the galley, grabs the medical kit from the overhead compartment. Noah sees her. "What's wrong?" "Possible allergic reaction, 28C." He follows her back. Alara opens the kit, finds the antihistamine, checks the label, checks the woman's medical history card she just filled out. Clear to administer. She hands the woman the tablet with a cup of water. "Take this. I'm going to monitor you for the next 20 minutes. If it gets worse, we have an EpiPen on board." The woman nods, takes the pill. Alara stays beside her, watches her breathing, her color, her hands. Noah stands nearby, ready. After 15 minutes, the woman's breathing eases. The tightness fades. She looks at Alara with watery eyes. "Thank you, you knew exactly what to do." Alara smiles, small, genuine. "Just doing my job." The woman shakes her head. "No, you've done this before, a lot." Alara doesn't respond. Across the aisle, the businessman from earlier is watching again. He pulls out his phone, opens the airline app, finds the feedback form. Types, Flight attendant Alara Brooks handled a medical situation with expert professionalism. She deserves recognition. He submits it. Up in the cockpit, Rowan checks the time. 3 hours into the flight. He glances at the cabin feed again. Sees Alara moving through the aisle, calm, efficient. He exhales slowly. She's okay. For now. But he knows Marable Cruz, knows her reputation, knows she doesn't stop until someone breaks. And Alara won't break. Which means this is going to get worse. Would you stay silent if someone tried to destroy you in front of everyone? Comment your thoughts. Alara stands in the rear galley, staring at a stack of meal trays. They're labeled wrong. Vegetarian meals mixed with standard. Gluten-free tags on the wrong containers. Someone prepped this in a hurry, or didn't care. She separates them carefully, reorganizes, double-checks the passenger manifest on her tablet. It takes 10 extra minutes. Noah walks past, stops when he sees her. You didn't have to fix all that. Yes, I did. Most people would have just served whatever was closest. Alara doesn't look up. I'm not most people. Noah leans against the galley wall, studies her. Where'd you fly before? She hesitates just for a beat. Skybridge International. His eyebrows lift. That's a solid airline, why'd you leave? Alara slides the trays back into the cart, locks it. Life got complicated. And now it's simpler. Noah doesn't believe her. She can tell, but he doesn't push. Well, for what it's worth, you're better than half the people on this crew, including the ones who have been here a decade. Alara finally looks at him, really looks. Thank you. He nods and walks away. She watches him go, then turns back to the trays. Her hands are steady, but her mind is somewhere else. Somewhere 6 years ago. Back when she wore the same uniform but carried a different name. Back when passengers asked for her by reputation, when junior attendants shadowed her to learn, when crew coordinators fought to have her on their flights. Back when she was Alara Winters, senior international flight attendant, 8 years of flawless service, commendations from 3 different airlines, known for handling emergencies with the kind of calm that made people feel safe at 30,000 feet. She remembers the night she met Rowan. A layover in Dubai, hotel lobby, 2 a.m. He was sitting alone at the bar, still in his first officer's uniform, staring at a glass of water like it held answers. She just finished a 16-hour shift, exhausted, wired, too tired to sleep. Rough flight, she'd asked. He'd looked up, dark eyes, steady gaze. Just long. She'd sat down 2 stools away, ordered tea. They didn't talk much that first night, just sat in comfortable silence, 2 people who understood what it meant to live in the sky. But the next layover, they ran into each other again. And the next. And eventually, it wasn't coincidence. They scheduled their flights to match, found layovers in the same cities, built a life in airport hotels and 24-hour diners. It was unconventional. It was theirs. And it worked. Until it didn't. The offer came 3 years into their relationship, command training overseas, a full year in London, Rowan's dream. But airline policies were clear. Relationships between cockpit and cabin crew were heavily scrutinized, marriages even more so. They could have hidden it. But Rowan refused to lie. I'm not going to pretend you don't matter, he'd said. Not for a promotion, not for anything. So Alara made a choice. She resigned. Told everyone it was burnout, that she needed time away from flying. No one questioned it. Burnout was common, expected even. She took a job at an airline training center, ground staff, teaching new hires safety protocols, watching planes take off through classroom windows. She hated every second of it. But she did it anyway. Because Rowan needed that year, needed that training, needed to become the captain he'd worked his whole life to be. And she loved him enough to step aside. When he came back, they got married quietly. Small ceremony, no fuss. He flew, she taught. And every day she felt the ache. The pull of the sky. The weight of what she'd given up. Rowan saw it, felt it. One night 2 years after the wedding, he brought it up. You should go back. She'd looked at him like he was crazy. I can't, not with your position. It'll look like favoritism, like I'm riding your reputation. Then don't use my name. What? Apply under your maiden name. Different airline, clean slate, no one has to know. She'd stared at him, measuring the weight of the offer. You'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with you being happy. So she'd done it. Applied to Trans-Sky Airlines as Alara Brooks, listed her old experience, passed the interviews, got the offer. Started over. From the bottom. No seniority, no recognition, no shortcuts. Just her and the sky, and the chance to prove she still belonged. Alara blinks. The galley comes back into focus. The trays, the hum of the engines. She's still here. Still standing. Still doing the work. But the cost of starting over is higher than she expected. Because people like Marable don't see experience. They see threat. And threats get eliminated. A chime sounds, passenger call button, section 31. Alara walks down the aisle. A young woman holds up an empty cup. Could I get more water, please? Of course. Alara takes the cup, walks back to the galley, fills it, returns. The woman smiles. Thank you, you're really attentive. Alara nods, keeps moving. 3 rows up, a man snaps his fingers at her. Hey you, I need another pillow. She stops, turns. I'll get one for you, sir. She brings him a pillow. He doesn't say thank you. She doesn't expect him to. An hour later, the meal service begins. Alara pushes the cart down the aisle. Chicken or pasta, over and over. A teenager asks for both. She gives him both. An elderly man can't open his utensils. She opens them for him. A mother with 3 kids under 5 looks overwhelmed. Alara offers to hold the baby while she eats. The woman almost cries from gratitude. Noah watches from across the cabin. Later in the galley, he says it again. You've definitely done this before. Alara wipes down the counter, doesn't look up. Maybe. Why won't you just say it? She pauses. Looks at him. Because it doesn't matter what I've done before, only what I do now. Noah nods slowly. Fair enough. He walks away. Alara finishes cleaning, restocks the napkins, checks the inventory. Then she steps into the small crew rest area, just for a minute. Sits down. Closes her eyes. And for the first time all day, lets herself feel it. The exhaustion, the humiliation, the weight of pretending she doesn't know more than everyone around her. She thinks about Rowan, up in the cockpit, sitting in the captain's seat she helped him reach. Wonders if he's thinking about her. Wonders if he regrets agreeing to this. Wonders if she does. The door opens. Marable steps in. Her eyes lock on Alara. Taking a break already. Alara stands, just restocking. Looked like sleeping to me. I wasn't. Marable steps closer, too close. Let me give you some advice, Brooks. This crew, we don't carry dead weight. You want to last here, you need to prove you're worth the uniform. Alara holds her gaze, doesn't blink. I will. Marable smirks. We'll see. She walks out. Alara stands there, alone. Her hands curl into fists at her sides. Then she uncurls them. takes a breath, and walks back onto the floor. Because she's not done yet. Not even close. Have you ever had to prove yourself to people who already decided you weren't good enough? Tell us below. The call button chimes. Alara's been on her feet for 4 hours straight. No break, no relief. She walks to row 34. A woman in her 50s holds up an empty wine glass. Can I get another? Of course. Alara takes the glass, walks to the galley. Maribel's already there, pouring herself coffee. Excuse me, Alara says. Maribel doesn't move, just stands in front of the wine cabinet scrolling her phone. Alara waits 5 seconds, 10. I need to access the cabinet. Maribel looks up, slow, deliberate. Say please. Alara's jaw tightens, but her voice stays level. Please. Maribel steps aside, barely. Alara opens the cabinet, grabs a mini bottle of wine, closes it. Turns to leave. You know, Maribel says, you're awfully quiet for someone who supposedly has experience. Alara stops, doesn't turn around. I'm just doing my job. Right, your job, which you got how exactly? Alara faces her now, through the same application process as everyone else. Sure you did. Another attendant, the woman with the locks, walks in, senses the tension, grabs a napkin and leaves quickly. Maribel steps closer. I've seen girls like you before. Think you can skip the line because you know somebody or because you look a certain way. But up here, she gestures around the cabin. Up here you earn respect, and you haven't earned anything yet. Alara's fingers tight around the wine bottle. She could say something, could shut this down with one sentence, could tell Maribel exactly how many emergency landings she's handled, how many medical situations, how many hours she's logged. But she doesn't, because that's not why she came back. Understood, Alara says quietly. She walks past Maribel, back to row 34, hands the woman her wine. The woman smiles. Thank you, sweetheart, you're doing great. Alara nods, keeps moving. But her chest feels tight. 2 rows up, a passenger waves her down. Middle-aged man, sweating, looks uncomfortable. I think I need the medical kit. Alara's expression shifts immediately, professional, focused. What's wrong? My chest feels tight, and my arms tingling. Alara's pulse quickens, classic heart attack symptoms. Stay calm, I'm getting help right now. She turns, walks quickly, not running, never run, it causes panic to the galley. Noah's there, she grabs his arm. Possible cardiac event. 32A, I need the AED and the medical kit. Noah doesn't hesitate, grabs both. They move down the aisle together, fast, efficient. Alara kneels beside the man's seat. Sir, I need you to stay as still as possible. We're going to monitor you. Noah opens the medical kit. Alara pulls out the blood pressure cuff. Wraps it around the man's arm, pumps, watches the gauge. 140/95. Elevated but not critical. She checks his pulse, fast, irregular. Have you had heart problems before? No, never. Any medication? Just for cholesterol. Alara glances at Noah. He's already pulling out the aspirin. She hands the man a tablet. Chew this, don't swallow. He does. She keeps her hand on his wrist, monitoring, watching. Around them, passengers crane their necks, whisper, film on their phones. Alara doesn't care. She's done this before, in worse conditions, with less equipment. The man's breathing starts to even out. Color returns to his face. After 5 minutes, his pulse steadies. How do you feel now? Better, much better. Good, but we're going to keep monitoring you for the rest of the flight. And when we land, paramedics will meet you at the gate. Is that really necessary? Yes. Her tone leaves no room for argument. The man nods. Ilara stands, looks at Noah. I'll notify the captain. She walks to the front galley, picks up the intercom phone. Dials the cockpit. 2 rings. Cockpit. Rowan's voice. Calm, steady, familiar. Ilara's throat tightens. Captain, this is Ilara Brooks from the rear cabin. We have a passenger exhibiting symptoms of a possible cardiac event. He's stable now, but we'll need medical personnel standing by when we land. A pause. She knows he recognized her voice. Understood, Rowan says. His tone doesn't change, pure professionalism. I'll notify Heathrow. How's the passenger now? Stable, we're monitoring closely. Good work, keep me updated. Will do. She hangs up. Stands there for a moment, hands still on the phone. That's the first time she's heard his voice in 3 days. It shouldn't affect her this much. But it does. She walks back to the passenger, sits in the empty seat beside him. I'm going to stay with you for a bit, just to make sure you're okay. The man looks at her, really looks. You've done this before, haven't you? Ilara doesn't answer. I mean it, he continues. You knew exactly what to do, no hesitation. She offers a small smile. Training. No, that wasn't training, that was experience. She changes the subject, asks about his family, his trip, anything to redirect. Across the aisle, an older woman leans toward her husband. That flight attendant saved that man's life. Her husband nods. She's good, real good. 3 rows back, a teenager pulls out his phone, opens Twitter. Types, just watched a flight attendant handle a medical emergency like a total pro. At Trans Sky Air, you better recognize Ilara Brooks. She's the real deal. Posts it. In the galley, Maribel watches the whole thing. Her expression is unreadable. But her hands grip the counter a little too tight. Because she saw it too. Saw the way Ilara moved, the confidence, the precision. And Maribel knows what that means. This isn't a rookie. This is someone who's done this 100 times before. Which means Ilara Brooks is hiding something. And Maribel is going to find out what. Later, when the passenger is stable, and Ilara finally returns to her section, Noah pulls her aside. That was impressive. It was protocol. No, protocol is checking vitals and calling for help. You diagnosed and treated. That's different. Ilara doesn't respond. Noah crosses his arms, leans against the galley wall. Who are you really? Ilara meets his eyes. Just someone trying to do her job. Right. He doesn't believe her. But he doesn't push. Not yet. The flight continues, passengers settle, the cabin lights dim. Ilara moves through the aisles, collecting trash, offering blankets, checking on the cardiac passenger every 20 minutes. He's stable, grateful, keeps thanking her. She just nods and moves on. At hour 5, she finally sits down in the rear galley, just for a minute. Noah appears with 2 bottles of water, hands her one. You need to hydrate. Thanks. They sit in silence. The hum of the engines fills the space. You know, Noah says, Maribel's going to come after you. Ilara sips her water. I know. She doesn't like threats. I'm not a threat. You are, you just don't see it yet. Ilara looks at him. Why are you telling me this? Noah shrugs. Because I've seen her destroy people, good people, and I'm tired of watching it happen. Ilara's quiet for a moment. Then she says, I can handle it. Can you? She doesn't answer. Because honestly, she's not sure anymore. Up in the cockpit, Rowan stares at the instruments. Autopilot engaged, course steady, everything normal. But his mind is on the call. On her voice. On the way she handled that emergency, without hesitation. The first officer beside him stretches, yawns. Long flight. Rowan nods. The first officer glances at the cabin monitor, sees crew moving around. Heard there was a medical situation back there. Yes, handled well. Good crew today. Rowan pauses, just for a second. Yeah, good crew. He doesn't say more. Can't say more. Because the rule is still in place. No one can know. But watching her work, watching her save that man, watching her endure Marable's cruelty, watching her keep her head down and her dignity intact, is killing him. He wants to walk back there. Wants to stand in front of Marable and tell her exactly who she's messing with. But he can't. Because Alara asked him not to. And he owes her that much. So he sits. And he flies. And he waits. The intercom crackles, cabin crew calling in their final check. Marable's voice comes through, smooth, professional. Captain, this is Cruz, cabin secure, all passengers stable. Copy that, thank you. Then Noah's voice. Captain, this is Bellamy. Just wanted to confirm, medical passenger is stable and comfortable. ETA to landing in 2 hours. Good to hear, thanks for the update. Rowan sets the intercom down. Looks at the monitor one more time. Sees Alara walking down the aisle, tired but steady. And he makes a decision. Not now. But soon. Because this can't go on forever. Would you stand by and watch someone you love be torn down, or would you risk everything to defend them? Drop your answer below. The seatbelt sign chimes on. Descent begins. Alara walks through the cabin one last time, checking tray tables, securing luggage, making sure everyone's ready for landing. A little girl in 29C tugs her sleeve. Are we almost there? Alara kneels beside her seat, smiles. Almost, just a little bit longer. I'm scared. It's okay to be scared, but you know what? The pilot flying this plane is one of the best. We're in really good hands. The girl's eyes widen. Really? Really? The girl relaxes. Her mother mouths thank you. Alara stands, keeps moving. But her chest tightens. Because she meant every word. Rowan is one of the best. That's not bias, that's fact. She's watched him fly in conditions that would ground other pilots. Watched him make decisions in seconds that saved lives. Watched him carry the weight of hundreds of passengers with the kind of calm that only comes from years of training and absolute certainty. He doesn't just fly planes. He commands them. And she's proud of him. Even if she can't say it out loud. In the cockpit, Rowan checks the instruments. Altitude dropping, airspeed steady, Heathrow approach control confirmed. The first officer handles communications. Rowan focuses on descent angle, wind speed, weather conditions. Everything's smooth. But his mind keeps drifting. To the cabin. To her. He glances at the monitor again, sees her moving through the aisle, efficient, graceful. The first officer notices. You okay, Captain? Rowan blinks, refocuses. Yeah, fine. You've been quiet today. Just focused. The first officer nods, doesn't push. But Rowan knows he's slipping. Knows he's letting his emotions interfere. And that's dangerous. He forces himself to look away from the monitor, back to the instruments. Focus. Just get them on the ground. Then deal with everything else. 10,000 feet. Alara takes her jump seat, buckles in. Across from her, Noah does the same. You made it through your first long haul, he says. Barely. You did more than barely. You handled a cardiac emergency like a pro. Alara doesn't respond. Noah leans forward slightly, lowers his voice. I looked you up. Alara's head snaps toward him. What? Skybridge International. I checked their old crew rosters, found an Alara Winters, senior attendant, 8 years, commendations, awards. Alara's pulse quickens. Noah watches her carefully. That's you, isn't it? She doesn't answer. Why the name change? Alara looks away, out the window, at the clouds thinning as they descend. It's complicated. Try me. She's quiet for a long moment. Then she says, I got married, took my husband's name. Then I left aviation for a while. When I came back, I wanted a fresh start. Why? Because starting over meant no one expected anything from me. No reputation to live up to. No assumptions. Noah nods slowly, and you wanted to prove you could still do it. Something like that. He leans back, crosses his arms. Well, for what it's worth, you've proven it. Alara looks at him, really looks. Thank you. The plane jolts slightly, turbulence. Alara's hand grips the armrest. Not from fear. From memory. She remembers another flight, another descent 6 years ago. Heavy turbulence over the Pacific, passengers screaming, crew struggling to keep calm. Alara had walked through that cabin like she was walking through her own living room. Calm voice, steady hands, reassuring everyone. Rowan had been the first officer that day, watching her through the cabin monitor. Later in the hotel bar, he'd said, "You were incredible today." She'd shrugged, "Just doing my job." "No, you made people feel safe. That's more than a job." And she'd fallen a little bit in love with him right then. Because he saw her. Not just what she did, but who she was. The plane touches down. Smooth, perfect. Passengers clap. Alara unbuckles, stands, prepares for deplaning. Maribel's voice comes over the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to London Heathrow. Please remain seated until the seatbelt sign is turned off. Professional, polished. No one would guess she spent the last 7 hours undermining Alara at every turn. The plane taxis to the gate. Stops. Seatbelt sign off. Passengers stand, grab bags, shuffle toward the exit. Alara stands by the door, smiling, saying goodbye. Thank you for flying with us. Have a great day. Safe travels. Over and over. The cardiac passenger stops in front of her, his wife beside him. Thank you, he says. Truly, you saved my life. I'm just glad you're okay. No, you did more than that. You stayed calm when I was panicking. You knew exactly what to do. I won't forget that. His wife squeezes Alara's hand. God bless you. Alara's throat tightens. Take care of each other. They leave. More passengers, more thank yous. One businessman stops, hands her a business card. I work in HR for a major airline, he says. If you ever want a reference, call me. You're exceptional. Alara takes the card, blinks back unexpected emotion. Thank you. He nods and walks off. Finally, the cabin empties. Alara moves through the rows, checking for forgotten items, lost phones, discarded blankets. Noah joins her. You okay? She nods, yeah, just tired. You should be proud. Of what? Of how you handled today, all of it. Alara doesn't respond. In the cockpit, Rowan completes the shutdown checklist. Engines off, systems down, flight log signed. The first officer stands, stretches. Good flight, Captain. Thanks, you too. The first officer leaves. Rowan sits alone. He pulls up the cabin camera feed one last time. Sees Alara moving through the empty cabin, alone, tired. His hand hovers over the intercom button. He could call her, could say something, could check in. But that would break the rule. And the rule is there for a reason. He closes the feed, stands, grabs his bag, walks out of the cockpit. In the galley, Marable stands with two other attendants, talking, laughing. She sees Alara walk past, and her expression shifts. Cold, calculating. "Brooks," she calls out. Alara stops, turns. "Yes." Marable steps closer. The other attendants go quiet. "I heard about the medical situation." "Yes, the passenger is stable." "Good, but next time, you notify me before you access the medical kit." Alara's jaw tightens. "It was an emergency." "Doesn't matter. I'm the lead attendant. Protocol says you check with me first." "Protocol says I respond to medical emergencies immediately." Marable's eyes narrow. "Are you arguing with me?" Alara takes a breath, keeps her voice level. "No, I'm clarifying procedure. The procedure is you follow my lead." Noah steps forward. "Marable, she did the right thing. The passenger could have had a heart attack." Marable rounds on him. "I wasn't talking to you." "Well, I'm talking to you. You're wrong, and you know it." The galley goes silent. Marable's face flushes. She looks at Alara, then at Noah. "We'll see what management thinks about this." She walks away. The other attendants follow. Alara stands there, hands shaking slightly. Noah exhales. "Don't worry, she's bluffing." "Is she?" "Yeah, she's got nothing. You followed protocol. You saved a man's life. She can't touch you for that." Alara nods. But she doesn't feel reassured. Because she knows how this works. It doesn't matter if you're right. It matters if you have power. And Marable has all of it. Up in the jetway, Rowan walks toward the terminal. He hears raised voices behind him. Turns. Sees Marable walking out of the aircraft, face tight, angry. Then he sees Alara. Walking slowly, head down. Their eyes meet. Just for a second. She looks tired, worn down. He wants to go to her. Wants to ask if she's okay. But he doesn't. Because the rule is still in place. And breaking it now would make everything she's endured meaningless. So he turns and walks away. But his hand tightens around his bag strap. Because he doesn't know how much longer he can keep doing this. How long would you stay silent to protect someone else's dream? Comment below. You people come in unprepared and expect respect. Marable's voice cuts through the cabin like glass breaking. Row 24, medical kit open on the floor, passengers staring, phones out. Alara kneels beside the supplies, organizing antihistamine packets that spilled when turbulence hit. Her hands move efficiently, muscle memory taking over. But Marable doesn't see efficiency. She sees an opportunity. "Some of us worked for this," Marable continues, louder now, performing. "We didn't just walk in off the street and get handed premium routes." A businessman in 23A lowers his tablet, watching. A mother in 25C pulls her daughter closer, uncomfortable. Noah steps forward from the rear galley. "Marable, that's not. Stay out of this, Bellamy." Alara closes the medical kit, stands slowly. Her face is calm, too calm. But her hands grip the kit handle tight enough to turn her knuckles pale. "The kit is secure," she says quietly. "The passenger in 22B requested antihistamine for mild swelling. I followed protocol." Marable crosses her arms. "Protocol is you inform the lead attendant before accessing medical supplies. The passenger was experiencing discomfort. I responded immediately." "And that's your problem, Brooks. You think you know better than everyone else." The cabin goes quiet. Even the engine hum feels distant. Alara feels it building. The old anger. The words she swallowed for 3 flights, for 7 hours, for every passive-aggressive comment and deliberate slight. She could end this. One sentence. 8 years of experience, multiple commendations, senior attendant ranking. But that's not why she came back. She swallows the words, again. I apologize if I overstepped, she says, voice steady, eyes meeting Maribel's without flinching. Maribel's smile is sharp, victorious. See that it doesn't happen again. She walks away, heels clicking on the aisle floor. The passengers slowly look away, back to their screens, their books. They're pretending they didn't just witness something ugly. But they did. And they'll remember. Alara stands there, medical kit in hand, breathing through her nose. Noah approaches, keeps his voice low. You didn't deserve that. It doesn't matter. It does. Alara looks at him, really looks. Does it? Because from where I'm standing, the only thing that matters is getting through this flight without making it worse. It's already worse. She doesn't argue because he's right. A passenger 3 rows back, elderly woman, gray curls, kind eyes, waves Alara over. Sweetheart, she whispers, don't let that woman break you. I've been watching. You're twice the professional she is. Alara's throat tightens. Thank you. I mean it, and I'm telling the airline when we land. Alara wants to tell her not to, wants to say it'll only make things harder. But the woman's already pulling out her phone, opening the airline app. 2 rows up, the businessman does the same. Across the aisle, a young woman types furiously on her phone, Twitter app open. In the galley, another attendant, the one with the locks, watches Maribel walk past, then looks at Alara. She doesn't say anything. But she doesn't look away either. Up in the cockpit, Rowan hears everything. The intercom feed is always on, always monitoring, safety protocol. But right now, he wishes it wasn't. Because hearing Maribel humiliate his wife in front of a cabin full of passengers is taking every ounce of discipline he has not to walk back there. His hand hovers over the intercom button. The first officer notices, everything okay, Captain? Rowan forces his hand back to the controls. Fine. Sounded tense back there. Cabin crew will handle it. But his jaw is tight, his breathing controlled. Because he knows Alara. Knows what it costs her to stay silent. Knows she's doing it for him, for them, for the promise they made. And it's killing him. The first officer goes back to his checklist. Rowan stares at the sky ahead, clear blue, infinite. And makes a decision he's been avoiding for 3 days. He reaches for the intercom button. Then stops. Not yet. But soon. Because watching her endure this alone isn't love. It's cowardice. In the rear galley, Alara leans against the counter, eyes closed just for a second. She hears footsteps. Opens her eyes. Maribel stands in the doorway, alone this time. You think you're better than us, don't you? Alara straightens. No. Then why do you act like it? I don't. You do, the way you handle passengers, the way you move, like you've done this 1,000 times. Alara doesn't respond. Maribel steps closer. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've seen every type, and you're the dangerous kind. What kind is that? The kind who thinks silence makes you noble, but really, you're just hiding something. Alara's heart pounds, but her face stays neutral. I'm not hiding anything. We'll see. Maribel walks away. And Alara stands there, alone in the galley, wondering how much longer she can keep this up. Because Maribel's right about one thing. She is hiding something. And if it comes out the wrong way, everything she's worked for will collapse. The seatbelt sign chimes. Turbulence ahead. Alara moves through the cabin, checking seatbelts, securing loose items. She reaches row 22, the passenger who requested antihistamine earlier. "How are you feeling?" Alara asks. The woman smiles. "Much better, thank you." "Good. If anything changes, let me know immediately." "I will, and I just want to say that woman was out of line earlier. You handled it with more grace than I would have." Alara's chest tightens. "Just part of the job." "No, that was character, and I hope your supervisors recognize it." Alara nods, keeps moving. But the words stick, because character is all she has left. The plane shakes, light turbulence, nothing serious. But in the cockpit, Rowan sees something on the radar. Weather system ahead, building fast. He adjusts course, notifies air traffic control. Then he picks up the intercom. His finger hovers over the button. And for the first time in 3 days, he's ready to break the rule. Have you ever had to choose between staying silent and standing up for yourself? Tell us what you'd do. The intercom crackles. Static, then silence. Passengers look up, waiting. In the cockpit, Rowan's hand stays on the button. His other hand grips the throttle. The first officer glances at him. "Captain." Rowan closes his eyes, just for a second. Then he presses the button. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking." The cabin settles, conversations stop, screens pause. Rowan's voice is calm, steady, the voice that's guided hundreds of flights through storms and clear skies alike. "We're currently at 37,000 feet, approximately 3 hours from London Heathrow. We may experience some light chop as we navigate around a weather system, but nothing to be concerned about." He pauses. The first officer watches him. Rowan takes a breath. "I'd also like to take a moment to personally acknowledge one of our flight attendants today." In the galley, Marable freezes. In the rear cabin, Noah looks up sharply. In row 32, Alara stops mid-step, her hand on a passenger's seat back, heart suddenly pounding. "No. Don't. Please don't." "Alara Hale," Rowan says. The cabin explodes in whispers. "Hale?" The captain's last name. Alara's face drains of color. Rowan continues, voice unwavering. "She handled a medical emergency earlier today with exceptional professionalism. But what most of you don't know is that she's one of the most experienced aviation professionals I've ever had the privilege of working with." Passengers turn in their seats, looking for her. Alara stands frozen, can't move, can't breathe. "She stepped away from this industry several years ago," Rowan says. "Not because she couldn't do the job, but because she made a sacrifice so others could advance. Today, she returned without asking for special treatment, without seeking recognition, and she's handled herself with more grace and dignity than anyone should have to." Marable's face is white, hands gripping the galley counter. "Alara Hale is my wife," Rowan says, "and I couldn't be prouder of the professional she is, or the person." The intercom clicks off. Silence. Then chaos. Passengers gasp, whisper, turn to each other. Did he just say? His wife. She's been back here the whole time. And that other attendant was treating her like. Phones come out, cameras turn toward Alara. She stands in the aisle, visible trembling now. Noah appears beside her. "Breathe." "She can't." The elderly woman in row 22 starts clapping. Slow, deliberate. Then the businessman in 23A joins. Then the mother in 25C. Then more. Until half the cabin is applauding. Not for the announcement. For her. For what she endured. For how she handled it. For the quiet strength they all witnessed. Tears stream down Alara's face. She wipes them quickly, tries to compose herself. But it's too late. Everything she held back for 3 days, the humiliation, the exhaustion, the cost of silence, breaks through. Noah grips her shoulder gently. "You're okay." She nods, can't speak. In the galley, Marable stands alone. The other attendants have stepped away, creating distance. Her authority, built on intimidation and seniority, crumbles in real time. Because everyone knows now. Knows what she did. Knows who she did it to. And there's no coming back from that. Up in the cockpit, the first officer stares at Rowan. "Captain, did you just—" "Yes." "That's your wife." "Yes." "And you let her." "It was her choice." Rowan's voice is firm, final. "She wanted to earn her place without my name, without favoritism. I respected that." The first officer nods slowly. That's incredible." Rowan doesn't respond. Because incredible doesn't cover it. What Alara did, leaving a career she loved, supporting his advancement, coming back years later to start from zero, that's not incredible. That's sacrifice. And he just made sure everyone knew it. In the cabin, passengers approach Alara. The elderly woman hugs her. "You're remarkable." The businessman shakes her hand. "That took courage, real courage." The mother with 3 kids says, "You're who I want my daughters to be." Alara accepts it all, overwhelmed, grateful, still shaking. Noah stays close, running interference when she needs space. Then Marable appears. The aisle clears, passengers step back. Marable and Alara face each other. For a long moment, neither speaks. Then Marable says, quiet enough that only Alara hears, "I didn't know." Would it have mattered? Marable's jaw tightens. She wants to say yes, wants to defend herself. But they both know the truth. "No," Marable finally says, "probably not." Alara nods. Marable walks away, back to the front galley, alone. And for the first time in 15 years, her authority means nothing. The rest of the flight passes in a blur. Passengers treat Alara differently now, respectfully, some apologetically, like they should have defended her earlier. She handles it all with quiet grace. Because that's who she is. When the plane finally lands at Heathrow, the applause isn't for the smooth landing. It's for her. Rowan hears it through the cockpit door. And he smiles. When was the last time someone stood up for you when you couldn't stand up for yourself? Share your story below. Management is waiting at the gate. 3 of them, suits, clipboards, serious expressions. Alara sees them as she steps off the aircraft. Her stomach drops. Noah walks beside her. "Don't worry, you didn't do anything wrong." That's not how this works. One of the managers, a woman in her 50s, sharp blazer, sharper eyes, approaches. "Ms. Brooks, or should I say Ms. Hale?" Alara stops. "Brooks is fine. We need to speak with you, and Captain Hale, conference room, now." Noah steps forward. "She just worked a 7-hour flight. Can this wait?" "No." Alara touches Noah's arm. "It's okay." She follows the managers down the jetway, into the terminal, through employee corridors. Rowan's already in the conference room when she arrives. Still in uniform, standing by the window. Their eyes meet. First time they've looked at each other directly since boarding. The lead manager, name tag reads Director Patricia Okonkwo, sits at the head of the table. "Sit, both of you." They sit across from each other, professional distance. Director Okonkwo opens a tablet, swipes through screens. "We've received 47 passenger complaints in the last 2 hours." Alara's heart sinks. "All of them," Okonkwo continues, "about lead flight attendant Marable Cruz." Alara blinks, looks up. Okonkwo turns the tablet toward them, shows a string of messages. Attendant Cruz verbally abused a crew member in front of passengers. Unprofessional behavior from senior staff. Alara Brooks handled it with class. Marable Cruz created a hostile environment. "I will not fly this airline again unless action is taken." More, dozens more. all defending Alara, all condemning Marable. Okonkwo sets the tablet down. We also have video. Multiple passengers recorded the incident. It's already on social media, trending. She plays one. Marable's voice, loud and clear. You people come in unprepared and expect respect. Then another. The medical kit confrontation. Marable's condescension on full display. Rowan's jaw tightens watching it. Alara stays silent. Okonkwo stops the video. Ms. Brooks, why didn't you report this harassment during the flight? Alara chooses her words carefully. I wanted to handle it professionally, without escalation. By staying silent. By doing my job. Okonkwo nods, makes a note. Then she looks at Rowan. Captain Hale, your announcement was unconventional. It was necessary. Was it, or was it personal? Both. Okonkwo's eyebrow raises. Explain. Rowan leans forward. My wife returned to aviation after years away. She applied under her maiden name because she didn't want favoritism. She didn't tell anyone our relationship. I respected that. But watching a senior crew member systematically harass her, on camera in front of passengers, I couldn't stay silent. So you used your authority to defend her. I used my authority to state facts. Alara is highly experienced. She did handle that medical emergency expertly. And yes, she is my wife, all true. Okonkwo studies him, then Alara. This puts the airline in a difficult position. I understand, Alara says quietly. Do you? Because now we have a captain and flight attendant married to each other, working the same routes, with documented evidence of preferential treatment. Rowan starts to object, but Alara speaks first. Then don't let us work together. The room goes quiet. Rowan looks at her, confused. Alara continues, voice steady. Assign us to different routes, different schedules, whatever you need to do, but don't punish him for defending someone who was being mistreated. Okonkwo leans back. What about Ms. Cruz? That's your decision, not mine. Another manager, younger man, nervous energy, speaks up. We have documentation of similar complaints about Cruz going back 3 years. Nothing actionable until now, but with this much public attention. Okonkwo nods. She'll be placed on administrative leave pending investigation. Alara doesn't react, doesn't celebrate. Just nods. As for you two, Okonkwo says, we'll need to review our policies on spousal crew assignments. For now, you won't be scheduled on the same flights. Understood, Rowan says. Okonkwo stands. You're both dismissed. Ms. Brooks will want a formal statement before you leave today. Of course. They leave the conference room. The hallway is empty, quiet. Rowan and Alara stand there, finally alone. You didn't have to do that, he says. Yes, I did. You earned your place here. You shouldn't have to work separate flights. It's temporary and it's fair. He wants to argue, but he knows that look. The one that says her mind's made up. I'm sorry, he says instead. For what? For breaking our agreement, for putting you in this position. Alara steps closer, touches his arm. You didn't break anything. You reminded me why I fell in love with you. His throat tightens. Because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Because you refused to let someone diminish me when I couldn't fight back myself. They stand there, close but not touching, professional even now. I have to go give my statement, Alara says. I know. I'll see you at home. Yeah. She walks away, down the corridor, back straight, head high. Rowan watches her go. And realizes something. She didn't need him to save her. She just needed him to see her. And now everyone else does too. Would you sacrifice working with someone you love to protect their career? Let us know what you think. The terminal window overlooks the runway. Alara stands there alone, watching planes taxi, engines roaring, wings catching light. She's been here for 20 minutes, just watching. Her statement's done, management satisfied, formal complaint filed. But she can't bring herself to leave. Because this view, this exact spot, is where she used to stand years ago, when she worked ground staff, when flying was something other people did. And she'd watch the planes take off, feeling the ache in her chest grow deeper every single day. Thought I'd find you here. She turns. Noah stands a few feet away, hands in pockets. How'd you know? You've got that look, the one people get when they're deciding something big. Alara turns back to the window. I'm not deciding anything. Sure you are. He walks up beside her, looks out at the planes. For what it's worth, he says, you didn't need him to speak up. Everyone on that flight already knew. Knew what? That you're the real deal. The passengers saw it, I saw it. Even Maribel saw it. That's why she came after you so hard. Ilara's quiet for a moment. You think I did the right thing, coming back? Do you? She watches a 747 liftoff. Smooth, powerful, beautiful. I thought I did, but now I wonder if I just made everything more complicated. Noah shakes his head. You made it honest, that's different. Honest cost Rowan his privacy, cost me my anonymity, cost Maribel her job probably. Maribel cost herself her job. You just finally exposed what everyone was too scared to call out. Ilara's fingers touch the glass, cold, solid. I missed this, she says quietly. Every single day I was gone, I missed it. Then why'd you leave? Because loving someone means making room for their dreams too, even when it costs you yours. Noah nods, and now? Now I don't have to choose anymore. She says it out loud, lets herself feel it. She's back, she earned it, and everyone knows who she is now. All of her. You're going to be okay, Noah says. Better than okay. How do you know? Because you already survived the hard part. Everything else is just flying. He walks away, leaves her alone with the view. Alara stands there, watching the planes. And for the first time in 6 years, the ache is gone. Replaced with something else. Purpose. She pulls out her phone, opens her messages. Types, I'm ready to come home. Sends it to Rowan. His response is immediate, I'll be waiting. She smiles. Then she turns from the window. Walks toward the exit. Toward the future. Toward the sky that's always been hers. Behind her, another plane takes off. And she doesn't look back. Have you ever had to leave something you love to find your way back to it? Tell us your story. 6 weeks later. Alara stands in the crew briefing room at JFK. Same room, different energy. The coordinator reads assignments. Her name comes up. Brooks, first class, flight 892 to Tokyo. First class. Heads turn, a few attendants smile. One gives her a thumbs up. She's earned it now, not through connections, through work, through 42 flights in 6 weeks, through passenger commendations and peer respect. Through showing up every single day and proving who she is. Noah walks up, first class, look at you. It's just a section. It's not, and you know it. She does. The coordinator finishes. Everyone disperses. Alara grabs her bag, heads toward the gate. At the terminal window, she pauses. Watches a Trans-Sky plane taxi toward the runway. Different flight, different crew, different captain. Because she and Rowan still work separate routes, company policy under review, might change in a few months, might not. Doesn't matter. Because they both have what they came for. Him, command, respect, a career he built with discipline and skill. Her, wings, purpose, a second chance she earned entirely on her own. Her phone buzzes. Text from Rowan, fly safe, love you. She types back, always, love you too. Then she boards. The first-class cabin is pristine. Leather seats, ambient lighting, passengers who pay premium prices and expect premium service. Alara moves through the aisle, greeting, smiling, making people feel welcome. An elderly gentleman in 2A looks up as she passes. Excuse me, miss, you look familiar. Have we flown together before? Alara pauses, thinks. Maybe, I've been doing this a long time. He nods. Well, you have a very calming presence, makes me feel safe. That's my job, sir, making sure you feel safe. You're good at it. Thank you. She keeps moving. In the galley, she preps the beverage cart, checks inventory, runs through the mental checklist she's done thousands of times. Another attendant, new hire, nervous energy, watches her work. Can I ask you something? Sure. How do you make it look so easy? Alara smiles. It's not easy. It just looks that way because I've done it enough times to know where the hard parts are. How long did it take you? To get good, years, to feel like I belonged. She pauses, still working on that. The young attendant nods. That makes me feel better. Good, just remember, everyone starts somewhere, and the people who make it look effortless, they just learned how to hide the struggle better. The attendant smiles, thanks. The plane begins boarding. Passengers stream in, bags, coats, questions. Alara handles it all, calm, efficient, present. This is what she came back for. Not the first-class assignment, not the recognition. This, the work, the purpose, the feeling of being exactly where she's supposed to be. 35,000 feet above the earth, where problems feel smaller and possibilities feel infinite. Where every flight is a reminder that second chances exist. That sacrifice doesn't mean losing yourself. That silence has its place, but so does speaking up. That love means supporting each other's sky, not choosing between them. The seatbelt sign chimes off. Alara moves through the cabin, offering drinks, answering questions, making people comfortable. And she realizes something. She's not the same person who walked into that crew briefing room 6 weeks ago. That person was trying to prove something. This person already knows her worth. At the rear of the cabin, near the galley, she catches her reflection in the window. Navy blazer, red scarf, hair in a neat bun. The uniform she left behind, the uniform she earned again. And this time, she's wearing it for herself. Not for approval, not for validation. For the simple fact that this is who she is. A flight attendant, a professional, a woman who refused to stay grounded. The plane cuts through the sky, smooth, steady. Just like her. Below, the world continues. People living their lives, fighting their battles, making their choices. And up here, Alara does what she's always done best. She flies. The moral isn't complicated. It's not about standing up to bullies, though that matters. It's not about love conquering all, though that's beautiful. It's about this. Sometimes you have to leave something to understand how much it means to you. Sometimes sacrifice is the price of supporting someone else's dream. Sometimes starting over is the only way to prove you still belong. And sometimes the person who mocks you is just scared of what you represent. Power doesn't announce itself with noise. It reveals itself in silence, in grace, in showing up every single day and doing the work. Real strength isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up, dusting yourself off, and walking back into the room that tried to break you. With your head high, your dignity intact, and your wings still ready to fly. Alara learned that. Rowan understood that. And everyone who witnessed their story got reminded of something important. The sky doesn't reward ego. It rewards balance. It rewards those who respect the work, honor the sacrifice, and understand that every flight, every single one, is a privilege, not a right. And Alara never forgot that. Not when she left. Not when she came back. Not when she stood in that aisle and chose silence over defense. And not now, as she serves passengers at 35,000 feet, wearing a uniform she earned twice. Because some lessons can't be taught. They have to be lived. And Alara lived hers. The plane begins its descent. Tokyo lights glitter below. Alara takes her jump seat, buckles in, closes her eyes, and smiles. Because she's home. Not in a city, not in a house. But here, in the sky, where she always belonged. This is the power of resilience, the beauty of second chances, the truth about real strength. If this story touched you, inspired you, or reminded you of your own battles, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another story that moves you. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or your own journey of starting over. Your story might inspire someone else who needs to hear it today. And remember, the sky is waiting for anyone brave enough to claim it. See you in the next story.